This nigga just
Yeah,
talked
okay.
to a crow. Talk to him.
Okay, we're just gonna start back from the beginning. I define objective as just simply that something true, independent from your mind. You're fine with that, Apollo?
Wait, sorry, I didn't hear what he said. Repeat it.
Yeah, it's fine. I define objective as something that's gonna be true, independent of the mind.
So what are you saying? What about morality is true independently of the mind?
Okay, yeah, sure. I'm gonna get onto like a IA example real quick. But it's not gonna be for the independent variation, but you're gonna understand it and it's gonna correlate to it. You're fine with that, or
Wait a second. What are you going to get onto, Colonel?
I'm gonna get something. Okay, it's very simple. I'm gonna argue like moral intuition, which is obviously not gonna be independent from the mind. It's gonna be dependent from the mind, but it's gonna correlate to my other scaling that's gonna
So you're saying
resonate.
moral intuitions is good evidence for moral reasons, right?
Yeah, you're gonna understand it. It's fine.
I know the arguments. It's called the intuitionistic argument for moral realism.
No, I'm not using the intuition. Don't worry.
Do you all agree that Kanai Solo
That's what
Yeah,
you're
I'm,
using. You said you used the moral intuitions as an
but
argument
yeah,
for evidence
it's
for moral realism.
yeah, but it's not gonna be
Yeah,
directly.
that is
Like,
the
you're gonna,
intuitionistic argument. What are you talking
no,
about?
no. You're not gonna understand. So what I was saying is that I'm still
I don't
gonna
think you're the one
argue.
to understand it.
Okay, cool. All right. So what I was saying is that I'm gonna argue things that are gonna be dependent from the mind, Apollo. Right? These normalizing things that are gonna be dependable from the mind and get these truths that you would seemingly agree with. Right? And then after that, I'm gonna argue intrinsic value that doesn't have anything to do with dependency from the
Intrinsic
mind.
value? It's another topic about axiology. What are you on about?
Not wait. I
Intrinsic
meant
value, that
I meant
term
I
is used
meant
for
I meant
axiology.
I meant non-intrinsic value. My fault, gang.
Non-intrinsic, that's still a value claim. How is value judgments relevant to a metaphysical debate?
How is value judgments? Wait, repeat that.
Do you know what the value proposition is?
Do I know what the value proposition is?
No, I'm saying, do you know what a value proposition is?
A value proposition is?
Yes, because when you're making some assertion regarding the lack of or the existence of intrinsic value, that would be a value proposition.
Wait, what do you think intrinsic means, Apollo?
I can tell you both of them. You have intrinsic value and you have instrumental value. Intrinsic value is value assigned to an object independently of the ends. Instrumental value is value of objects which are determined by the ends or a particular goal of the agent.
Okay. It sounds like we have some like discrepancies already. What I think whenever I hear the word intrinsic, and I think of words that are like going to be intrinsically valued, is something that's going to correspond with nature and everything, kind of like a truth or something, right? Because that's what the
How
word.
does value correspond with reality? Are you like a value externalist?
Huh? How does reality correspond
You
with
said value.
reality?
You're trying to make like an isomorphic relation between value and the external world,
Don't
which is what brings me to asking you the question, which is, are you or are you not a value externalist?
I don't know what that means, Apollo. I'm not gonna lie again.
Then why are you even talking about value if you don't even know anything about axiology?
Because I'm not arguing value externalists. Like I'm not arguing the external
You're
world.
saying that you're gonna make a relation between the
Wait.
value and the external world.
No, I was arguing not external. What? Because what I describe as intrinsic.
That was what you said verbatim.
No, because externalist is going to be something that's going to be external of the actual intrinsic world. Whenever I hear the word intrinsically valid,
You know, when someone is saying that, when someone is talking about an external world, which is what you said verbatim, they're talking about a world which is mind independent of mental traits, right?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, Apollo. Intrinsic is something that's going to be.
If that was what you're saying, why were you saying no to my interpretation of what you were saying originally?
Because you said something about externalism and talking about how it's still corresponding.
But I just referenced external world again, to which you agreed with. So what are you talking about?
Because you reference intrinsic value in the same sentence.
Dude, I said the same thing, but just clarified further, and you agree with the clarification.
Okay, I get that, but you said intrinsic value in that same sentence, which is just contradictory to external.
I'm quoting you when I was saying intrinsic value. When I was saying intrinsic value, I just quoting you.
But you said it in the. You're not understanding. You said it in the same sentence, which is just confusing overall because they're contradictory.
What are you even talking about? Are you even on point right now?
Yeah, Apollo. I'm saying you said intrinsic value and then something about.
Are you mentally lazy or something? Because I don't think you address what I'm talking
about. Okay. I'm just gonna repeat it one more time. You said something about intrinsic value and then something about value externalist or externalism, and then put it in the same sentence, which is just confusing because they're contradictory entirely of each other. From my understanding.
Of course, they're contradictory. That's just the point.
So how are you gonna ask me if I have
because you're trying to say
externalist
value? You're trying to make a proposition regarding intrinsic value and its relation to the external world, which is why I brought forth that question, dummy.
Yeah. I don't see how you're gonna. Wait,
Yes, so that means I was not confused. There you go.
I, I was saying yes as an acknowledgement, not as an agreement, but that's fine.
Oh, okay. I
I'll just
forgot that
correct.
you use. I forgot that you autistically speak English language. You use it different from like majority of English speakers. Got you.
No, you're a top tier troll, but yeah. Anyway,
I'm
whenever
not
I was
trolling
in,
them. That's serious. I'm serious right now.
no, yeah, that's fine, gang. Whenever I was in
Uh
reference
huh.
to that sentence you made, is that putting these two things? Are you just referencing that I'm attempting to correlate these two things?
That was the insinuation I was getting from what you were saying. Unless you want to clarify that you're not making this claim.
I was given the okay, yeah. Earlier I explained. Wait, do we agree that intrinsic is
Yeah,
just
you
something that
explained it, but it was a poor explanation of your position.
I don't think it was poor. It's just a lack of understanding on your behalf from misconstruing the words.
Yeah,
But it's
lack of
fine.
understanding on my behalf because you're saying gibberish, of course.
I mean, I said the same thing the whole time, and it seems
Very
like you have.
difficult to understand gibberish, right, guys?
I mean, yeah, of course. If I was speaking gibberish,
Yeah,
though,
of course. Yeah, that was the reason why I couldn't understand it was
you're you're
gibberish.
you're
That was why I
doing
was
you're
asking clarifying questions.
you're doing that cutoff thing again.
Yeah, that cutoff thing, which is actually important because you're misinformed to the topic. Yeah, of course. I think it's very essential.
Misinformed on the topic. That's crazy. But yeah,
Yeah, you're informed on what intrinsic values are.
what I was saying earlier is giving obviously the distinction between the independent and dependent version of the mind and everything. And I was giving the correlation from arguing from a perspective base that what we deem things to be dependent from the mind from a moral altitude perspective. If we deem something to be good, I'll give you an example. Apollo, right. It is always good to never force somebody to do something. Therefore, we pick the other option. It is always good to have them to choose to do this option. Do you agree with that?
I don't even know what you're talking about, dude. I don't see how this is relevant to you proving that intuitions are good evidence for more realism. I can give arguments for why intuitions is not necessarily good evidence by pointing towards illusion experiments, if that's fine with you.
I'm sorry. I was busy. Huh? Sorry. I'm sorry, Paul. There's a lot going on in my background. But yeah, can you explain that again?
Yeah, my apologies for the background. I'm outside right now. I'm walking.
No, not your background, my background. But yeah, go ahead. Explain that again real quick, please.
Okay, I was just saying that I could give reasons to not grant intuitions being good evidence for more realism. That was all I was saying. I didn't really understand what you're talking about or your goal of saying whatever you were saying previously. Unless you want to clarify, go for it.
Yeah, what I was okay, yeah, my first point, I guess my P1 here would be just simply saying that
Hmm.
we only have things to like give judgmental for objective morals truly existing by the progression of morality
Hmm.
that we encompass. Saying this, I was
When
going
you
to
say
give you
there's a
a
progression, are you saying that are you saying moral facts are changing over time, or are you saying
yeah,
that
moral factors always change depending on the time. Like I'll say like slavery right now is like a good
wait,
thing,
what's
not
the reason as to why it changes depending on the time?
yeah, because it changed. Okay, yeah, sure. I'll give you an example again. Slavery has like changed to be a good thing, not to happen over time.
Yeah,
Correct?
I'm
Would you
asking you
agree with
for
that?
the causal explanation for why
The
it
co-
changes, supposed under your view.
the cause would be like I don't know the Jim Crow era,
The
like
what?
the Jim Crow era. Do you know what that is?
No.
Advocating for slavery not being a thing. That would be like the cause for like slavery not being a good thing. Unless you're
That's not
referencing
even
something like
answering my question. Like, what would be the reason behind this era even occurring? What's the reason behind the different advocates that we're talking
the
about?
different advocates because it wasn't seen as a
Yeah.
big deal back then. I guess I don't know. I wasn't back
Wait a
then.
second. So you're saying that, hold on there a second. So the reason as to why slavery became regarded or was regarded as an immoral activity in the contemporary period is simply because of a differences in perspectives.
All right, cool,
Because
cool,
when
cool.
I asked you for your reasons as to why they stopped advocating for slavery, your response is they stopped seeing it as a significant, or they started, sorry, to see it as a significant problem, which points me towards the idea that your position actually entails cultural relativism, not moral realism.
Well, yeah, okay. From the idea, I guess you could say it would persuade somebody to be a relativist or somebody that agrees that morality is just going to be relativistic. But I was going to explain the independent version of it afterwards. Like if we can come
Wait,
to
hold
like
on
the
there a second. But you said this is the cause for it. So that means that there's a dependence relation. Causality implies dependence relations. So if you're saying the cause for them
your
changing, hold
understanding
on,
is in the
real
analogy.
quickly. If you're saying that this is the
Yeah.
cause, right? The cause for slavery becoming immoral nowadays is fundamentally based on the perspectives of moral agents changing over time, right? If this is the cause, if the cause for morality changing is because of perspectives, that's just identical to you agreeing and conceding that moral claims and the truth happiness of such are dependent on moral perspectives, which is going to be an attempt of subjectivism, not objectivism.
Okay, yeah. So what I was saying is that this is going to entail the independency variation and true deeming quality of objective moral facts. I guess you could say after the fact that this
No, it wouldn't.
proves
You'd have
the
to retract the
case.
causal claim and make a different argument.
No, I don't have to retract it because this whole point is arguing that dependency from the mind and the
Wait a
progression of
second. So
morality
if
has
if,
came a
if
long way,
fundamentally
and if we
speaking, you're
can
saying the
deem things that are
perspectives is what
replicated to be
causes.
truthhood or falsehood,
Okay, go for it.
or
Go for
just
it.
simply things that appear to be this case by moral intuition, then we could get a grounding of it. It's very simple. I wasn't going to argue like
Yeah,
the
so the reason as to
independency
why you have to retract the
and
causal claim, just explain for you because it's very clear, not even knowledgeable enough to engage in this topic. The reason is simply because of the idea that if you're going to say that the moral facts, right, are caused, the current moral facts regarding slavery being immoral is caused by
I'm not saying
differentiations in perspectives. Hold on real quick. I'm trying to educate it to pipe down real quick. So if you're saying this is a cause for moral facts changing, right? And that's just identical to you saying that without the perspectives, this would not actually change given the fact that it is contingent on the perspectives. This
I'm
is
not
what
saying
causes the change in moral facts, right?
okay,
So
so
you'd have to either agree, hold on, you'd either have to agree with this being true, which would entail your position being false, or retract the causal claim as to why there's modification of morality and make a different argument.
all right. Yeah, so what I was saying was that simply that I wasn't telling I guess you can say the cause thing for just the dependency variation of the mind. I wasn't gonna relate the cause being this encompassment of the independent variation of
Of
the mind.
course you aren't going to. You cannot do that. It is contradictory.
Well, yeah,
It
so
is
we would
contradictory to
agree.
say that something is independent of something, even though it is caused by it in reality.
Well, yeah, so we just agreed that I wasn't gonna put into a relation of
Wait, so
this
if you
causal
agree this
effect of
contradictory, would that not force you to retract the causal agreement you made prior and
no,
then make a
because this
different
is
argument?
just no, because this point is just arguing for moral progression, not the encompassment of independent morals.
But wait a second. It is, for one, unclear to me what you mean by moral progression. If by moral progression you just mean that the
Morality
facts
has
of the
changed.
Past.
Here,
Wait, hold on
I'll
there real
wait,
quick.
but no,
I'm
no,
just gonna
I'll just
ask
give
you
you.
these series of
Well,
questions. Okay.
okay, go ahead, go
So
ahead.
if by moral progression you just mean that the current moral state of affairs is in stronger conformity with our moral perspectives than the past moralistic perspectives in history, that's just going to be something which is uninformative. That's not going to be proven to me or anyone that there's actually some objective true progression.
Yeah, oh, okay, okay, I get it, I get it. So you're trying to, I guess you could say, relate this to the independent argument, like kind of like foresee how this is going to be related to the independent argument later on, correct?
I think you possibly could be on point, but I think even if you're actually on point regarding what I'm saying, I think your communication skill is poor, so I can't even tell if you're actually on point. So I'm going to repeat it just to make sure that you understand what I'm saying. So
Go
what I'm
ahead.
really saying is that it could be the case, right, that from our perspective, it appears to be that there's some true progression in reality, moralistically speaking, but it is not actually the case because when you're saying there's progression, we're just speaking from our current perspectives, which is shaped by the current cultures, which again would be something which is mental, something which is mind dependent. So how do you be able to reconcile the
It's so
entailment from this
boring.
position? How do you be able to explain to me? Wait, how do you be? Wait, hold on real quick. How do you be able to explain to me that moral progression is emblematic of moral realism?
Okay, yeah, sure. So what? Yeah, okay, so I got the summarization now. It's right before. But yeah, I was gonna explain that this is just a moral progression point. I'm not relating this yet into the objective sense of the morality, Apollo. I haven't done that yet. That was gonna be in P3 or P2, and then my conclusion will finally be met from there. I'm just relating this that progression of morality has changed over time, and seemingly we can come to this grounding agreement that if
Wait, what do you mean by
a
morality? What does morality mean?
just an adjustment between good or bad, I guess.
What does good and bad mean?
What does good or bad mean? Well,
Yeah.
we got like social construct of these, but I wouldn't say
Wait a
like
second.
you're
So
not
good and
you're
bad are
wait
identical
Apollo
social
Apollo
constructs?
Yeah, but you're not gonna understand the whole point because I'm not arguing that the social construct is gonna induce or deduce factors from objective
Wait,
morality.
wait, hold
I
on
was
real quickly. I don't like how you're just tiptoeing from point to point to
so hold
evade the
on, hold
actual
on.
major
Wait,
question I'm asking.
wait. I wasn't finished. I wasn't
So
finished.
tie this
I
back to
wasn't
the question I
arguing.
was asking real
Please,
quick.
I
I'm just
wasn't.
gonna
Wait,
tie it
wait.
back. I'm
I
gonna
wasn't.
re-ask the question. So
I
hold on,
already
real quickly,
answered
real
your
quickly. Hold on,
question. I
real
wasn't
quick.
finished. You're
So the
cutting me off
question is
again.
simply, right? What is good and bad? Re-answer the question.
React to
Second
the
chance.
question. I just answered it again, but yeah, sure. Thank
Dude, if I'm telling you to re-answer the question,
black people.
that obviously means I want you to answer it again. So go ahead and answer the question. This time,
Well,
try to
yeah,
make it make sense.
that's fine.
Try
But if you
doing that.
can't hear
Shut
me,
your
yeah.
black ass up.
Facts. Shut the fuck up, you fucking niggers.
So
You're
yeah,
right.
yeah, good or bad is gonna be like
Yeah.
the
So what
social
is good and bad?
yeah, good or bad is gonna be the social construct that humans go off based off their own ideation. Getting descriptive.
This nigga just said they're
So wait a second.
subjective.
Morality is not. Wait, is there a position that morality is objective?
Yes, but I'm not arguing it in here.
Wait, so
Pablo.
wait, hold on there a second.
You know
So
what, this
guys, I
nigga
want
just
you guys to quote it
repeated
real quick.
himself.
So
Yeah,
he
you can
says his
think
position
that.
is morality is objective, but then he defined morality to be good and bad, which under his view is identical to social constructs, which is based off human ideation. So that's the contradiction. You just conceded.
Arguing. Yeah, so I'll just read.
Yeah, because if you're saying morality is identical to human ideations in social constructs, that's the exact same as you saying morality is
Okay,
subjective.
so
But your
Apollo,
position that morality is objective, not subjective.
it seems like you're not understanding because earlier I literally said the
Dude, I
only
understand what's
area.
going on, and I'm pretty sure
Okay,
everyone
okay,
else except you can
okay.
understand that you just
Okay,
contradicted yourself.
if you
You
don't
just
mind
made a
over talking.
self-satisfying statement, dude.
Well, yeah, if you don't mind over talking and let me explain, that would be nice.
If you
But
don't
yeah,
mind over talking, do you want me to over talk you or what?
that's why I said if you don't mind not like don't do it. Like
When
stop
someone
over
say if you don't
talking.
mind doing so, they're asking you to not do it, dummy.
If you don't mind over talking, like what? But
I'll
yeah,
leave it track.
I'll just
Anyways, so how are you gonna
I'll just
respond to the obvious contradiction which is entailed from your role?
yeah, because earlier I literally said that this indicator of how progression of morality been constructed is not going to be directly correlated to me proving independent cause for morality being objective. In fact, this
Holy
is the
shit, you're
only.
so dumb.
Hold
So
up, you're
you
cutting me off again.
conceded that morality is
Okay,
subjective, which contradicts your overarching position. Because you said that morality is simply identical to human social constructs, which is based off human ideation. So
Oh
what
my
you're gonna
god!
have
I
to do
said it.
here,
I
right?
said
What you're gonna have
okay.
to do here is
You're
either
not
redefine
understanding.
your term of
You
morality,
both stop.
which is too
Stop.
late
You're
by the
not.
way because you've already conceded,
So you both.
or
You're
I
not
don't know,
understanding
just drop
again.
the entire debate.
You're not
Apollo, wait.
understanding again. Hold up, Apollo.
You're just claiming me to misunderstand your position.
Because
However, okay,
you're
you have
not letting me
reality
finish
behind
a
your
whole
points right now.
sentence, and you're cutting me off halfway through
I'm
it.
saying
Just
the
let me
judge
finish.
gave the verdict to me. Then why are debating?
Dude,
For
look
real,
at this.
bruh.
So
I just
I'll
think he's just
I'll
coping. He's
just
just saying a misunderstanding because he doesn't
yeah, I'll just
actually have
repeat
anything
it
else to
again.
rebut.
Yeah, I'll just repeat it again. The only evidence that
You're
we
gonna
have
repeat the contradiction again, as if that's gonna do it any better.
yeah, just keep cutting me off, please. The only evidence that we have to
Are you
point
ordering
towards
me to cut you off? Because I can do that all day.
no, it was sarcasm, Apollo. But yeah, the
Yeah,
evidence
I
that
know
we
this
have
sarcasm. I'm trolling because you're stupid.
dope. The evidence that we have to point towards objective morality is going to come between the progression of a dependent morality
But
from
I've
the
already
mind.
told you the idea that the progression is compatible with subjectivity, and you've conceded it is subjective.
And
So
I'm
basically,
arguing that these things can coincide with one another, Paulo. That
so you're
this thing
saying something can
can
be both subjective and objective. Okay, that makes so
not
much sense.
something that well, yes, Apollo in the human ideation scope, of
So,
course,
oh,
it's going
so
to be
wait a second. You
subjective.
think ID is
You're
pure
cutting me
mental,
off.
meaning
You're cutting me
non-mental?
off again in the human
So you
ideation.
think something can be both mind
And the
dependent and mind
human
independent?
and the
Do you
human
guys hear this
ideation. Oh
ridiculousness? Do
my
you guys hear
god.
how ridiculous he sounds right now? Like he's
You're
so
just cutting
confused.
me. You're just cutting me off again. In
Of course, I'm
context of
cutting you off
in
warrantedly.
the
I'm doing this for a
context.
purpose because you contradicted yourself and you're being
No, you could
dishonest. You're
think
being a
that.
dishonest weasel.
Dope. You could think that. So what I was
I
saying
know I can
was that
think this, so of course I'm allowed to think this. What about?
I mean, I never said nothing bad about it. But
I
what I
never
was
said
saying
you're
is
saying
that
nothing bad about it. I'm
social
just pointing to the triviality for response.
dope social constructs that humans
Are you going
built.
to respond to that or are you going to drop that?
Obviously the human ideation scopes of it is going to be subjective. I'm not
Dude,
arguing
you
for
want to
this.
do you want to just end the debate right now and just like you just go back to the you just pick up some books
I
or
mean,
something?
you're just not letting me continue my point. It sounds like you're just running
You
from
don't
this
have a
point.
point anymore. You've already conceded.
Yeah, I could see that to human ideation being a social
Yeah, you
construct
conceded
of
to
the
morality
mind
being identical to
dependency
human
from
ideation, which
morality.
implies
And
the
then
fallacy of your
earlier I
position.
brought up, but this is going to be an evident basis to prove
Do you want to
objective
just head to
morality.
conclusions? I think
And
you're
this can
wasting
be
my term
deduced or
personally. You're
induced.
wasting my time.
Sure. You want to head to conclusions? Go ahead. State yours
Of
first.
course, I want you to give conclusions first.
I mean, I wasn't even. No, you can state your first. You wanted to move on, but I wasn't even able to give my.
Wait,
full
I'm giving a conclusion on the entire debate, by the way, just so you know.
Go ahead. That's fine.
Okay, so let me just read this real quick. Okay, never mind. It's just Exiled being Exiled, the retard is. Now, my conclusion is very simple. I think I think even people who doesn't have any philosophical knowledge, right, can understand how my opponent clearly conceded, because his position in this debate was that morality is objective, and he defined objective to be something which is external to the mind, something which is not identical to the mind, right? But then I just ran him down a series of questions, right? I asked him the simple question, which is, what is morality? His response was that which is good and bad. And I asked him, what is good and bad? And he watered down the idea of good and bad to mere human evaluations, mere human ideology, mere social constructs, right? And if he's agreeing that these things are mere ideations, right, they're mere mental things, right, then that would contradict the idea that morality is objective, because the entailment of something being objective is for something to not be mere ideas or evaluative assessments, but something independently of such. So my opponent just clearly conceded that he looked horrible, rhetorically, argumentatively, knowledge-wise. He was just a complete shit show. I don't know.
We get it,
Like,
nigga.
honestly,
Jesus.
honestly, I was really unimpressed. So I expected better, but like, damn, gotta go on the train on.
That's
It's really bad.
cool.
Okay,
That's
that's
cool.
your conclusion. All right, there we go. Now I'll say my conclusion. So my conclusion is just simple. It's simply
I'm
the
sorry.
fuck. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Of
So
course
my
I won
conclusion.
that. Vote me up, guys. Vote me up.
Yeah, my conclusion is just simply Apollo was, I guess, giving this contradictory statements between objective and subjective. While I do agree there's contradictory, I was arguing a deducement or inducement for the subjective matter, because I think that is the only evident basis that we can come to a conclusion to reach for objective matter. I didn't cut you off. Don't cut me off, bitch, please. All right. So what I was saying, right, is that I think this is the only evident matter we can come to a conclusion to deem objective moralities to be true. Now, if that conclusion is valid, we don't know, because Apollo cut me off mid-debate. This is just the debate structure now that I'm going off. I don't think Apollo refuted any point that I said about it being a deducement or inducement while they're contradictory one another. I don't think he attacked that at all. He just pointed out that they're contradictory, and the deducement, he never attacked the deducement being correlated or once induced to reach a conclusion. I think that's it. Like, this Mongolian rhetoric nerd just put a hang. Like, I don't know what else to
What
say.
is this guy ranting on about? Is he done yet?
Okay, I'll save recording. Who do you want to send this as a
Yeah,
judge?